Hi everyone, before we get into today's video, I just want to invite you to check out anv.me. That's my website. A-N-N-E-V as in Victor.me. Hi everyone, I cannot be the only one who's ever been through this, and in case somebody's gonna go through this if they don't watch this and take it to heart, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this story. So I had a website, that older website that was in my descriptions for a while, before I started promoting anv.me. Well, that domain name was up for renewal, and I was like, okay, I don't want it. Well, I thought that not paying for it would get it canceled, because I was getting these emails saying, well, we tried to charge your credit card on file and there's a problem. Well, I know what the problem is. It's not an invalid debit card. It doesn't matter what the problem is, but I know what the problem is. Well, I was like, well, I'm not interested in renewing it, so I don't have to worry about it. Wrong. I got an email a few days ago that said, well, we went ahead and renewed it. The transaction type was collection sale. In other words, they said, all right, well, if she's not going to pay, we're going to turn her over to collections because we deserve our money. Well, if I wanted to keep the website, you're right, you would deserve your money. But if I wanted to keep the website, I should have gone on and took care of the problem with the debit card. The point is, I didn't want to renew it. Well, what I didn't realize was that they were not going to stop the website because I stopped paying. You really have to call these people and outright say, I previously bought this, it's up for renewal, I don't want it anymore, cancel it. Now, there may be plenty of people who watch this and say, duh, that's the way the world works. But like I said, I can't be the only person who thinks, well, if you don't pay for something, the service ends, right? I mean, you don't pay your electric bill for long enough, you don't have electricity anymore. You don't pay your internet bill for long enough, you don't have internet anymore. You don't pay your, cell phone, and they'll turn your cell phone off. Well, at some point they will turn off your service, but they'll also hound you for the money that, as far as they're concerned, you owe them for time that you technically had the service, whether you wanted it or not, that you didn't pay for. So if you're like, okay, I don't need this anymore, always contact the company, whether that's logging into your account or calling the phone number and praying you get a person that can communicate with you. I mean, I didn't the first time, but the second time, by the time it was in collections and I was trying to cancel it, I did. I should have made a second phone call before the renewal lapsed. I had plenty of time to take care of this before my account went into collections, and if I would have known that this was going to happen, I probably would have. But like I said, I thought that not paying would mean, the email I expected to get was, we couldn't process your payment, so we've canceled your service. You no longer have this domain. Well, apparently that's not the way things work. Always make sure that things are actually canceled, officially canceled. Don't just assume that, well, I don't have to pay for it, I don't want it anyway. Well, if you try to get out of it by not paying for it, it'll come back and kick you in the ass. If you talk to this company and say, hey, I don't want your services anymore, then you can cancel it and never have to worry about it again. So, in case anyone is like me and didn't realize that, there's your School of Hard Knocks lesson for the day, I guess. I'm out that amount of money because I'm going to have to pay collections. I told the guy this situation, but apparently he's not able to give refunds, so I'm just going to have to pay the collections agency and call it a hard lesson. That's what I get for not following through before this happened.
The time is 6:24 a.m.
On a Saturday morning. Good morning. I am out and about again this Saturday. Not right now. But when my door-to-door transit vehicle gets here, I'm going to the bank, to Starbucks next door, and then while I'm at Starbucks, I'm thinking I'll probably just talk to you guys. I've done this before. I'm going to do it today. This might be one of my, ways of vlogging, because I end up with so many videos that just sit on my computer waiting to be published, and by the time I finally publish them, it's old news. I mean, it's new news to you. You don't care, but I'll see when the vehicle gets here. We've got a long time to wait before the window even opens. My ride's going to be here any minute, and it just hit me. Duh. My first order of business is going to be to get my rent. Okay, that involves getting a cashier's check now, and I'm going to have 2 pieces of cashier's check. I'm going to need to know what's what. That means I need to braille label some envelopes. Good thing I thought of that now, instead of when the vehicle was like literally right here, or when I was already in the vehicle. I'm like, crap, I don't have envelopes. How am I going to know which is which? Save myself from that. So one says rent and the month and then their copy, meaning the apartment manager. And one says rent, the month, my copy. My copy I'm keeping, their copy I'm dropping in the manager's office door in the drop box as soon as I get home. That's how I do it now. Because of that whole disaster that we'll talk about later. That's one of the things I was going to talk about today. As I just made small talk with you guys at Starbucks. One-sided small talk, but that's what a vlog is, right? Okay. Now when this vehicle shows up, I'll be prepared. That was pretty good timing. I don't know for sure that that's my vehicle, but I bet it is. We're going to talk to each other. You're not going to hear it, but yeah, obviously that was the right vehicle. And now we're on our way. Alright, I have about half an hour to sit here. I ended up not vlogging anything in the bank, but we did get what we needed to get done. I did get what I needed to get done. So what is there to update about today? First of all, that whole saga with the unpaid rent. In case you don't remember, back in late March, early April, I got the letter in late March, and I confronted the situation in early April. I got this form letter saying, we have information in our records that say you didn't pay rent, you know, in this, 2-year time period or something. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I have auto pay set up with my bank where they write a check to you guys and mail it. What are you talking about? Rent didn't get paid. So I went to the apartment management and they said, well, here's the details. First of all, we're not saying you didn't pay rent at all. We're saying there's been 2 or 3 months where we didn't get rent at all, and then several months where it was like $1 short. I must have written the wrong amount in the online bill pay thing when I set it up. But, okay, that, I was like, okay, I can fix that. Okay, so I owed, what, $5-10 from 5 or 10 months when I was supposed to pay, I don't know, I'm just going to pull numbers out of the air here, $413, and I paid $412 or something. It wasn't that, but I'm just saying. But what about this non-payment, completely non-payment? I'm going to go to the bank and find out why that happened, because they should have paid you all. Well, it looked like they had, but as best as I can figure it out, this wonderful postal service that my country has, that used to be a lot better than this. I could trust the mail in times past, but right now I just don't trust the postal service, because you have postal workers that will put 212's mail in 101's mailbox. You've got delivery workers that just throw things around, have no respect for the fact that you know, when it was sent out, it was in one condition, and it would be nice if it would be in the same condition when it arrives. You got, I mean, there's just not a lot of accountability anymore, and more than that, and more to the point here, you've got mail going out, and a solid month later it never showed up where it was supposed to go. Remember the jury summons that I never got until after I was supposed to report? I mean, oh my God, that could have led to legal trouble. Thank the Lord it didn't, but I mean, yeah. Anyway, I was like, okay, I no longer trust that system. I no longer trust the mail. I'm gonna have to go back to doing cashier's checks. I had been doing that. I stopped up toward the beginning of the pandemic because, yeah, going to the bank and waiting around there for a ride, that really didn't happen. Going to the coffee shop and sitting around and sipping hot chocolate and waiting for a ride, that's making a comeback. That didn't happen up toward the pandemic. Like, I think the place was open, but there was no seating. Maybe you had to go outside, or maybe you just had to grab and go. I don't remember, but I ended up not going out as opposed to going out and having no place to wait for a ride, because my situation never changed and probably never will change. I cannot see, therefore I cannot drive. So someone's got to take me somewhere if I'm going to go. So anyway, because of that, I was like, okay, this paying rent through cashier's check isn't going to work. Can I do the online bill pay? Well, you have to have a trustable bank and a trustable mail service for that to work. We didn't have both of those. I had a trustable bank, but we couldn't trust the mail, so I had to go back to doing cashier's checks. 2 of the non-payments were recent enough that I was able to say, okay, let's track down that money, put it back in my account. One of them happened a long time ago, and I wasn't conscious enough of what was going on with my money to realize that, oh, where'd that come from? Okay, why did that return to my bank? That was supposed to go to apartment management. It's kind of tricky. On the one hand, I'd like to believe that there are such things as unexpected surprises, as pleasant surprises, as, oh, money that I didn't know was there. That's nice. But on the other hand, if money was there that shouldn't be there because something didn't clear, a bill didn't clear, a bill wasn't paid, I guess I think there's still some things for me to learn about how to know the difference between a pleasant surprise and okay, where exactly did that money come from? So-and-so never got their money? How come so-and-so never got their dang money? So, anyway, by the end of April, when I had that taken care of, there was still 1 month's worth that had returned to my bank, and I wasn't aware of it, and God knows what I did with that money. well, there was a fund set up to help get that taken care of. And yesterday I did the paperwork to kind of get my piece of that assistance. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. Thank God. And I already told you earlier in the vlog, I kind of started the vlog off with this before it was even an out and about on Saturday. I did the story about how I thought something would cancel because I didn't pay for it, and it didn't. Instead, it went to collections, and they're like, well, we got the money how we had to. You're going to have to deal with it, but we renewed it for another year. And I was like, okay, I didn't want you to do that. Lesson learned there. Always officially cancel your stuff. Don't just figure, I can quit paying for it and it won't matter. Yeah, it will. And I just want to take a minute and acknowledge myself that a year ago, I would not have known what to do about that email that said transaction type, collection sale, order completed that you never really wanted, renewal finished that you thought we were going to cancel because you decided not to bother to take care of the problem that we told you about with your debit card. When I got that email, I was like, okay, does that mean what I think it means? I'd like to ask somebody who knows more about it than I do. A year ago, even 6 months ago, that would have been my one aunt. Or probably even my other aunt would have known, but I wouldn't have wanted to ask her. I wouldn't have wanted to involve her. I didn't really want to involve the other one. So I thought, well, this friend who is an angel about picking me up from work if I need him to, and he's actually available to do it, and I'm so blessed in my life. I wish I had more him type people in my life. Oh shoot, speaking of hymns. I almost said, I wish I had more hymns. Hymns is actually the name of a company that makes products that I like, and I just realized that I missed. They had a presentation on an internet radio station that I could have listened to, but I completely, it was one of those things. I read about it in the daily emails, and I was like, oh, I might like to catch that. And then I never set an alarm. I never set a reminder. I never did anything. And it has come and gone because it was 10 Central Time, which would have been 8 Pacific Time. I just sat right through it. Just completely missed it. Shoot. The point is, a year ago, I never would have been able to deal with that on my own. And I almost wasn't, but then I was. I knew I didn't want to involve my aunts, but I was like, okay, maybe this friend of mine, well, I don't know that I've got his email address like right off the top of my head, and did I want to text him about this? And then it occurred to me, well, I'm in this Facebook group. It's my money coaching for blind people. You know what? Maybe I should say something about them. This video is not sponsored by Penny Forward. However, if you're blind or visually impaired and you think, everybody else seems to know how to manage their money, I'm trailing behind. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. If you could use some help, if you could use some education, Penny Forward is a place you might want to consider. It's an organization that strives to educate blind people to build their future up one penny at a time. I'm a member of their organization on a couple of levels. I do their transcription, and I also have a paid membership. It's about $10 a month. I think it's like $9.90 or something like that. I just rounded up to $10. Or you can do $90 a year, I believe. Don't quote me on the prices, but the point is, it's affordable money coaching and education. If you want to know more about that, check out pennyforward.com, pennyforward.com. Or if you are not blind and visually impaired, but you're like, wow, I like what I'm hearing and I'd like to help them. I'd like to maybe give them some money. I like what I hear and I want to support them. You can do that there too. So I wasn't planning on doing a plug for Penny Forward, but I'm sure they would appreciate it if I would, so I did. Let's see. Anyway, I went to the Penny Forward group, Facebook group, and I said, hey, what do you make of this? And they said, yeah, they don't cancel for non-payment. They get their payment however they need to. You're going to have to contact them and get this resolved. So yeah, the bottom line is, it's not that I didn't get help figuring it out. It's that I was able to find that help somewhere other than relatives, which I'm kind of proud of. You know, I'm keeping an open mind as far as the future. I could recommit to living in the place I'm living now, or I could move out and look for better elsewhere. I'm still not ready to give up on thinking that there's better elsewhere, but realistically, right now, I don't know that I'd be able to find it. If I move, I want to move because I'm confident that the place is everything I want it to be. I want to have walked through it. I want to know that this is a great place to be, and that's where I want to be. I don't want to move out of desperation. Oh my God, the place is about to be ripped apart and put back together, and there's no way I'm going to live in that. I'm not willing to live in that. I'm still not willing to live in that, really, but I'm going to try to give them a chance to meet my needs. And if they can't, then, you know those ants I was talking about earlier? One of them tells me, you know, you can always move in with me for a while if you need to. And I am so blessed to have that option. And I might just take it. But we'll take it one thing at a time. That might be all there is to talk about today. Except to say that as unhappy as I've been about various things in the past several months, I really do have a lot to be grateful for, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. I mean, door-to-door transit is a pain in the butt, outright. However, when my preferred ride service is not available to pick me up from work or take me into work, I have 2 people that I can call on to take me home, and no one that I can call on to take me in. Without door-to-door transit, I don't know what I would do. I would have had to quit a long time ago because I wouldn't have the transportation to go in there. Ubers or Lyfts cost enough money that I would be like, okay, am I working to pay for my rides or am I working to get a paycheck? Door-to-door transit is not free, but the money that you spend on that compared to the money that you spend on, speaking of door-to-door transit, there it is.
Your ride should be arriving within the next 15 minutes.
Alright, I've got to wrap this up and get to the bank. They can be a pain in the butt, but without them, I don't know how in the world I would keep my job. I am pissed off about the fact that there's not accessible laundry machines in my apartment building. In fact, I'm not ready to talk about it on YouTube yet, but I'm taking what action I can to bring that to people's attention, because that's just not okay. However, I have a roof over my head. Is it as big as I'd like it to be? No, although I keep thinking that if I rearrange a piece of furniture, if I could find a place to put that other than where it is, and maybe bring smaller pieces of furniture into where that is, and if I could figure out ways to rearrange this place, maybe I could make it work. Would I like a bigger place? Well, yes. And would I like laundry machines in the unit, and better yet, hookups in the unit for laundry machines so that I could pick out my own laundry machines, and if it wasn't an accessible machine, then I wouldn't get it. By accessible, I mean something I could put braille labels or tactile markings on and operate it without being able to see it. Would I like that? Hell yes. But if I had to choose between living where I live now and living on the streets, give me the one bedroom with the inaccessible washing machines in a heartbeat. So I bitch and complain and talk about how I want better. And I'm not willing to say it's not a valid argument that I deserve better. However, I've got a lot to be thankful for. Okay. I need to finish this and get over to the bank before my ride shows up and I'm over here. This is what I mean when I say I'm taking you along with me on my journey of life. First of all, this is what my life is like. And secondly, as easy as it is to think it's just me that has to go through this shit. No, it's not. I'm sure for every one of me, there's thousands of others that are like, this sucks. And if people living that can watch these vlogs and realize I'm not alone, somebody else is going through this too, I hope to some extent it can make you feel a little better. And of course there's always the whole thing about how just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't do what you want to do. I mean, in some cases it does. Because you're blind, you can't drive. However, just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't find a way to go where you want to go. Door-to-door transit is not free, but compared to what you have to spend on Ubers to get, especially to get from my workplace to my home when I live like 25, 30 minutes away, I mean, it's just, unfortunately with door-to-door transit, what you don't have to pay for in money, you do have to pay for in convenience and stress. You don't have to pay a lot for it, but the stress level when they're picking you up from work, when you work at a place like I work, is really high. I don't like it. But I like it better than spending half my paycheck on transportation, because not always is my preferred ride service available. I was going back and listening to this, and that's what I was in the middle of saying when that ride call came in, and I never finished my thought. So that's the rest of that comment. Okay, anytime now, you guys. I'm not worried about you finding me because I'm right where I need to be, but how much longer is it gonna be? Finally. Okay, I'm home. I'm gonna take care of this already. I just literally just walked in this apartment building door, and I'm gonna take care of this already. I'm standing in front of the manager's office right now. Their copy. Right here. There it is. You just saw it. I handed in my rent. And when they come in here, probably on Tuesday, because it's the 4th of July weekend, and Monday's 4th of July, it'll be there. And on that note, I think I'll actually close out this video. Thank you for watching. Check out anv.me, and you'll hear from me in the next video. Bye.